Hey, what's up, guys? Bill the Universe, and I'm going to be doing the chart of Ezra Miller. So I actually I've never heard of him until he started like getting in trouble like the last 2, 3 years. And then I saw some movie where he was in as a kid. It was pretty good, and it was funny. He played a kid who had a fetish for fat women. And when I say fat women, I mean like obese. And then I see that he is going to be in The Flash. So right now it's May 2023, so The Flash hasn't come out yet, but it does look pretty good. And he's a good looking guy, and I know that he's known for having issues, right? So let's get right to it. So when I first saw him, I looked in his eyes, and I definitely got a Scorpio vibe. I thought it would be Jeshta, because Jeshta men can tend to really like big women, especially even like really fat women. And he does not have Jeshta, which is a star in Scorpio, but he is on a Radha moon, which is a star in Scorpio. So he is a Scorpio moon. So I was right about that. I just wasn't right about the actual star. So he's a Scorpio moon. He's a Virgo sun. He's an Aries ascendant. I do Vedic astrology, which is Eastern astrology. So if you subscribe to tropical, then stick around anyway. Keep an open mind and just chill out, man. Okay. So I don't know about all this extra stuff that he's doing. It's crazy stuff. If he's going to be involved in like criminal stuff, then it could be because he's a Anuradha moon. He's a Scorpio moon. So the moon is debilitated in Scorpio. So that means he has a debilitated moon. And moon is your mindset. So he's got a Scorpio moon in his 8th house because he's an Aries ascendant. So all his houses are gonna sync in with the signs that they correspond to. So that means he's got Scorpio in his 8th house. He's got his moon. He's got a Scorpio moon in the 8th house. That's to be honest, that brings a troubled mind a lot of times, like most of the time. This person can be bipolar. This person can have certain psychological issues. He could be very neurotic. He could be a very restless person, just very restless. A lot of crazy dreams, very chaotic dreams. The mind needs to be still and strong and unwavering. This is why the opposite of Scorpio is Taurus, and this is why the moon is exalted in Taurus. Because it's very unwavering and it's stubborn, right? Taurus. So it doesn't move. So the mind doesn't move. It's very, but it's also, Taurus is representative of like the Garden of Eden. It's very sensual. It's very plush. It's very lush. So the mind is plentiful and juicy and has a lot of growing potential when it's in Taurus. But in the opposite of Taurus, Scorpio, the mind is very dry and it's very without, and it's seriously lacking. And the moon waxes and wanes, right? So when the moon is going back and forth in Taurus, it's okay. They can ride out the waves, and they're one with the waves, right? That's why Taurus moon people are actually pretty sentimental. But if it's the opposite, when the moon waxes and wanes, these Scorpio people have nothing to hold on to. They don't. It's always like they're always in detriment. Like they're always on survival mode. Like they're not able to relax ever. And it's because they don't have this like inner peace within themselves, within their own mindset. So while their mind inside is very barren, this can actually make them very, very successful people on the outside. So because they lack that inner security inside, they will have a very, very successful life financially. So a lot of very, very popular, very powerful people are Anuradha natives, including Oprah and Michael Jordan, and I'm trying to think of financial powerhouses. Those two are enough, but there's some other ones too. Not specifically Anuradha, but but Scorpio in general is very financial powerhouse. So I think he is rich, and it's double Scorpio for him because it's in the fourth Navamsha of Scorpio. So Anuradha is a Saturn ruled nakshatra. So when you're in the fourth pada of the Saturn ruled nakshatras, it goes into Scorpio. So his moon is already in Scorpio, but then it's in the fourth Navamsha of Scorpio. So, and especially with Navamsha indicating like the second half of your life, you would think hopefully things get better. But actually, because he was born with a Scorpio moon and then it stays in Scorpio and Navamsha, that means he's gonna have like a whole entire life of like mental uneasiness, mental restlessness, stuff like that. But on the upside of this detrimental moon, this can make them very, very good at money. I know quite a few people with this moon placement that they're very good with money, but they also kind of like are miserable people. I will say that. And this is the moon too. So moon is the mother. So it could mean that the mother has passed away because Scorpio is death, or it can mean that mother is also kind of crazy like that. Eighth house is and Scorpio is also finance. So so this could mean that mom comes from a financially set background. Timothy Chalamet has his moon in the eighth house, and his mother is a psychiatrist, I think, in New York. So she makes good money. So this could also mean that his mother just makes good money. Which wouldn't be surprising because I see that Ezra Miller's from Bergen County. That's in Jersey. That's like where really rich people live. Like a lot of business people, a lot of like people who are kind of like G's of their field. When they have families, they will live in Inglewood. They'll live in Bergen County, and their kids will go to schools in Bergen County, and then they'll go to work like in Manhattan. So, like, this is actually a very rich suburb of New York City, where Ezra Miller is from. And it's indicating that his mom has money, and it indicates that his dad has money, too, because his son is in Hasta, which is a star in Virgo. When men utilize this energy in a masculine way, they will a lot of times be very atheist, and they will be very logical, like hyper-logical, and they will be also very, very good in business too, because they're really good with numbers. They know how to play people. They know how to put on a certain type of charm. They're very charming. Hasta sun is Hasta moon, Hasta ascendant, Hasta sun makes you a charming, attractive person in general. Virgo is the only feminine, the only woman in the zodiac. So while people say Taurus is the most feminine sign, I think Virgo is the most feminine sign. So when a man has like a major Virgo energy, it can make him very attractive because Virgo is a very feminine sign. So it gives him like a feminine face. And he does have a feminine face. Yeah, like a pretty face, not like too masculine. And then Anuradha, his Scorpio moon gives him like those dark eyes. And then he's an Aries ascendant. He's an Ashvini. So Aries is the most successful sign, I've noticed. The most successful sign. There's other signs that it's the richest sign or the most intelligent sign or the most yada yada sign. But Aries is the most pioneering sign. Like Aries is selfish enough to, and brave enough. So, selfish and bravery, when you mix those two together in someone, it gives them the fortitude and to like really truly go after their dreams. So like a lot of people will kind of dream about their goals. These people truly do it. Like let's say you have to move across the country to make something happen for your goals to work out. These people will actually do it. They'll actually be bold, leave their hometown where their family is, and they actually go and do the thing they need to do to reach success. So these people are very, very successful. They're very pioneering people. Like back in the day, these people would have been the ones to like get on the boat and go on the ocean, without knowing if they're going to come back. Because Ashvini, which is a star in Aries, is associated with the star Ketu, and Ketu is very wild, primordial energy. So these people actually do really good in the wild. So these people that's why they're very successful, because they kind of have that, they're kind of connected to their primordial self, and the astrologer Claire Nakhti did a study on like mass murders and like psychopaths and basically people who were like evil of society. And apparently this star, Ashvini, was the most prominent, which I think was pretty interesting. So apparently this is the most quote-unquote evil nakshatra, is Ashvini, which is interesting because Ezra Miller is apparently rumored to have done a lot of evil things, which is why he was dropped from his contract, I think, and he's not going to be playing The Flash after this 2023 movie because he's got a lot of bad press around him. But this does suggest if all these energies were to be used in a bad way, then yeah, I could see this being like a very bad person. I could see that if the energies were used all in manipulative ways. And the other thing I got from this chart was that he comes from a very, very like wealthy house. I wonder if his dad was a doctor or a surgeon or something like that. And also this suggests that he himself, Ezra Miller, also has like talent in science or math and could also be like a surgeon or a doctor. I say that his dad might be because his son is in the 6th house. Son is the father, and it's in Aries, which is and so he's got his 6th house in, no wait, it's not Aries, I'm sorry. He's got his son in Virgo, and he's got it in his 6th house. So son is the father, so that means that his father could have been a doctor or a scientist or worked in the hospital or done something to like help people, which makes sense. And then this suggests that he also has those capabilities too. So I wonder what his dad does. And the fact that they live in a rich neighborhood, it also gives me the inclination. And Hasta, which is the star in Virgo, Hasta is the healer. So his son is in the star of the healer, which is sitting in the house of the hospital of taking care of people. So and son represents father. So that's what I'm saying. I really feel like his dad worked in the medical field for some reason. And 8th house is also death and blood and stuff like that. And his moon, which is mother, is sitting there too. So I feel like both of them could have come from a medical background or something like that. And he has his Ketu in his 3rd house and Mars in his 3rd house too. So that's actually a really, really good thing. So the 3rd house is the house of competition, and he's got Ketu, which is a very wild energy, and he's got Mars, which is a very malefic energy. So Mars obviously loves battle, is not afraid to go into battle, likes to do it, not afraid of competition. Ketu is a wild energy, and also Ketu is past life. So Ketu is like, wherever Ketu is, that's like where you've learned so much from your past life. So I do want, so Ketu and Mars in the 3rd house for him makes him really, really good at competition. It actually makes him like a cutthroat, merciless, ruthless, warrior and, like competitor. So, I wouldn't be surprised if he has a natural, like really, really cunningness when it comes to competing. And the fact that it's Ketu, which is past lives, I just for some reason get a feeling that he gets this from his family. Like his family like celebrates this part of him. Like this quality is something that they cultivate in their family. That's the impression that they get. Also money, because the 2nd house is in Taurus. Taurus can also be about like having a big house and having a beautiful life materialistically, which it looks like he did because he is from Bergen County. But also Taurus is, what's it called? Taurus is the arts. So it could mean that he comes from a very artistic family, or he comes from a family that really appreciates the arts, is very supportive of the arts. So that could also be it too, because, for a child to be an actor, like it obviously means you have parents who support you, So that's indicative. I wanted to look at his bedroom pleasures because I thought he was a Jeshta and they're freaks, but he's not Jeshta, he's Anuradha. But I did want to see his bedroom pleasures because I remember in that movie he had like a thing for really fat girls, and I do think it's interesting. So you can, for the karka of a woman in a man's chart, you go 12th. No, I'm sorry. If you want to look at bedroom pleasures for anyone's chart, you go 12th from Venus. So 12th from his Venus is Jupiter, and Jupiter is the thighs and the butt, and it's like anything. It's like extra fat. So I do think that's very interesting. that he's got Jupiter 12th house from Venus, and he's got Sun 12th house from Venus. Sun is a very dominating person. Sun is very dominant. It's the most masculine planet. So if he's got Sun 12th house from Venus, that means he likes women who are like honestly bigger than him in some type of way. And he's got Mercury there too. So it could also mean that he has a lot of lovers and just really doesn't like to. He's kind of a womanizer also. Because Sun, like I said, is very masculine. It has a problem with relationships. Sun takes their time when it comes to settling down because they really don't like settling down to begin with. If they're in a relationship, it's going to be with someone who is going to allow them to have a lot of space and respect their freedom and stuff like that. So he's got Sun and Jupiter, which are very big, huge, masculine planets, sitting 12th house from his Venus. So that means he likes women who are very strong, independent, and bigger than him in some type of way. It doesn't have to be size, but I thought that was interesting in that movie. He was into really, really big women. So I think that's interesting. Okay, so then I'm looking at 4th house from his moon because that talks about the mother. And there was, okay, yeah. So it's 4th house from his mother is Aquarius in the 11th house. So that means that his mom like was very like a lot of world knowledge. For some reason, I get the feeling his mother is like foreign in some type of way, or like from another place or from another really, really different background. But it wasn't really what I'm getting. The fact that it's an 8th house and then 4th house from the 8th is the 11th house, like I'm really getting strong feelings of not a lot of maternal care, but more on like how the world works, more on like the laws of the universe, the laws of how society works, just on a more elevated type of way rather than 4th house, which is very like, let me hold you, let me cook for you, let me, treat you right, stuff like that. I'm not getting that at all from that. I am getting that she is a very good homemaker and that she can cook and clean and she's good at creating the home because his 4th house is in Cancer. But and also suggests that he likes a really nice clean home. But his moon is in the 8th house, which is very tumultuous. And 4th house from the moon is in the 11th house. That's also like, it's not tumultuous, but it's not like emotional either. It's kind of like it's like having a mom where if you lose like the ball game, the mom's not going to be like hugging you and holding you. She's more going to be like, okay, well, what your weaknesses? Let's examine them. Okay, well, you need to be better because no one's going to hold your hand, and more like realistic rather than like super supportive, stuff like that. We're at 18 minutes. Oh my gosh. So here's the other thing. One last thing before I go. So Saturn is the karaka of losses. So if you want to look at losses in your life, you go to Saturn and you go 12 houses from Saturn. So 12th house from his Saturn is Rahu. And his Rahu is in the 9th house. So, right, 9, 10, 11, 12. So Rahu in the 9th house, that means like that's like this great, huge desire to be on top. It's a great, huge desire to be like the king or the queen. It's like more than the businessman. It's like the religious figure. It's like so businessmen are very revered by capitalists, but like a king and queen or a priest is revered by like the common man, by like everyone, the masses. So so for his Rahu to be there, that means that he really truly wants to like be the top of something or be kind of like worshipped in some type of way, which is interesting because I did recently hear that he apparently started this cult, which is incredibly Rahu in the 9th house. Because Rahu, 9th house is of like higher positions in life, like almost holy positions in life. That's why kings and queens, monks, stuff like that. Not businessmen, that's 10th house. But like things that are a little more important than money. So like kings, queens, priests, preachers, stuff like that. That's 9th house. And he's got his Rahu there, which is like a serious, unhealthy desire for it. So it's suggesting that it has a serious, unhealthy desire for being the top, like worship, something like that. So, but That's sitting 12th house from his Saturn. So that means that he will reach it one day and then he'll lose it. Especially if he does actually reach it. He'll reach it and thinks like, this is it. This is like the supreme of what I can do with my life. And then he's going to lose it all. Because Saturn is going to take it away. Because this Rahu is sitting 12th house from Saturn. And a lot of people like him too. Wait, his Saturn's in Capricorn? Okay, it could be a little bit better, but it's okay. It's sitting in... Okay. So he is a good worker. He's a good hard worker. And he gets along with people really well. Because Saturn is in the 11th house. Saturn in the 11th house is really, really good. That makes you really, really friendly. That makes you... you get friends easily when you have Saturn in the 11th house. 11th house is Aquarius. It's ruled by Saturn. So Saturn is sitting in his own house here. And he's actually quite friendly here. Usually he's an authoritarian. He's a restrictor. But here, he's more of a hippie. He's more of like your friend. All right, guys. One more thing, sorry. So also another indicator that he might be good in math and science, not just because he's got a loaded 6th house, including his Sun and Jupiter, which are super awesome planets to have in a house together. But also because his Venus is in, his Mars is in, his Mercury is in Chitra, and it's in the 6th house. So it's in this. So the 6th house, like I said, is of serving people, the house of the common man. And Chitra, while being in Virgo, which is like the nurse, the helper, the healer, Chitra itself is associated with the deity of the celestial architect. So a lot of Chitra people, while they are very sexy, they actually are very smart. And because it's associated with the cosmic architect, these people are good at what's it called, programming. So they're really good at coding and software engineering, stuff like that. They have a very mathematical mindset, which I think is very interesting. And now that I say it, and his Jupiter is in Uttara Falguni too, now that I really look at this chart could support the fact that he was trying to run some type of scam on people, or honestly, because, well, let me not get into it, right? I'm innocent until proven guilty, so whatever. All right, guys, that's it. Bye.